How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have
Right
Poet. we have Poeta with us. They can say their names and what they do in the band.
I'm Kevin, and I do vocals.
I'm John. I play guitar.
Denti is actually talking right now.
I'm
Zach. I play bass.
That's perfect. Leave it like that.
Oh my God! Are you gonna answer, Dentino?
I did. Me and
You
Zach
were
answered
muted.
at the same time.
Oh God.
I'm Anthony. I play guitar. There we go.
All right. Well, I've had these guys on multiple times, and this may or may not be the last time. No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. I love Poeta so much. Would never say that. I would never have them back on again. But it's good. It's good to have the guys back on. Last time I talked to Zach, and shout outs to the old homie George. But yeah, it was very cool. It was prior to the release, so that was very. What did you say, Dentino? What are we talking? You talking some smack?
I didn't say it.
But anyway, so I had Zach on before this, and it was prior to Stella Luna releasing, which was really cool because I got a little bit of an insight on the album, and then I also did a live album review of the album itself. So I'll leave a link below to go check that out. But I have to ask, guys. How's the reception been of Stella Luna? How have you guys been going through that? Because it's been out for about 4 months, 4 or 5 months, I think, or a little bit less.
Been that long already? Damn. It's been pretty cool, man. I mean, we've definitely gotten a lot of, when you first starting out as a band, you get a lot of the people like in your close friend circles and like people reaching out from there. But now it's like complete strangers that are like, yo,
nice.
I recognize you from that. Or like you did like some cool music. That's sick, and that's fun. So if our music's getting out there like that, I guess the reception's pretty good.
Anyone else want to add?
Yeah, definitely. When I joined this past summer, everyone, anytime I brought it up that the new album was coming out and that I'm part of the group now, everyone was just like, oh my God, really? Like, that's awesome. That's sick. And a lot of people that I didn't know listening to Poeta that have like come out of the woodwork and really are like, oh, dude, that Golden Fields was one of my favorite albums. I got to check out the new one. And I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even know, you were into it that hard, So it's surprising and awesome. It's really cool.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely flattering. Adding John to the band was great PR, honestly. People have been like, holy, you have John? That dude can play guitar. And I'm like, yeah, I guess no one else could before. So, yeah, great. But
Wow.
The best part of
You're really throwing
fucking,
shade tonight, huh?
I'm just no, it's funny. Because it's like the funniest parts of Golden Fields were like Kevin has a solo in Blueprints, and people would tell me all the time. They'd be like, dude, your best work is that solo in Blueprints. I mean, it's the only thing I didn't do. And then people come up to me. So like when I watched your reaction, you were like, dude, that glorious solo. And I was like, fucking damn it, dude. Like I didn't do that one either.
My whole perception is now destroyed.
Tapping section. And I was like, I gave that tapping section to John. I didn't do shit.
And I'm doing Glorious solo live too.
Yeah, so it doesn't. I'm not doing anything as far as anyone's concerned. Which is
my God.
It's amazing.
So if
I'm
you
a
do
fraud
get canceled, we can just be a 4-piece again.
Pretty replaceable.
Man. Zach, you want to add?
Pretty much everything's been said. It was great. It's just so cool to like see, damn dog. It's just really cool to see like people from around the world. Like there's this podcast that they did like last week, the Emo Dad podcast, and they're out in the UK, and pretty much all of this, with the exception of like the stuff that George used with his resources to promote that album, it's pretty much been all organic reach, and like it's a real testament to how good the music is, I think, because now in a day and age where you pay for position on stuff like that, like the organic reach that we've been able to get it's really awesome. It's really humbling. So it's been really, really cool to see how far it's gotten.
Yeah, I think obviously I checked out the record and I really enjoyed it. I'm, very much been there since the beginning, I think, or pretty close to it. And Golden Fields was I would also agree is one of my like favorite records just because I think there's such an attention to like melody and the way that you guys kind of all like fit together within the album as a whole. It's always gonna hold a special place in my heart, but I feel like with Stella Luna, whatever like bass print that you had for that album, I feel like you took it up a notch with Stella Luna. And there was just some things that I felt like, oh, maybe they could do something a little bit different, go out and do different sounds and stuff like that. And obviously, by adding John to the band and going further, it's going to be very interesting to see how you guys, play out. Because I've definitely seen John's previous bands before, so I know for a fact that by having both Dentino and also John now in the band, I think the guitar work is just gonna be chef's kiss. Not to also knock Kevin's talent because he's also a very good guitar player. But imagine
What's a
his guitar. What? What was that, Kevin? What are you talking? You talking shit right now
Nothing.
on my
dude.
podcast here, bro?
I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm just kidding. But I feel like even your guitar work as well too. Like I know Dentino is just like, man, Brandon, you guessed wrong. This wasn't. I didn't do that part, And I felt a pit in my chest because I know Dentino is a good guitar player too. So make sure that thumbs up to let everybody know that Dentino is a great guitar player as well.
Oh no, that I definitely want to let people know that Kevin is, because that's what was tough too, was like on the last record on Golden Fields, like given it, you want to have more riffs, but it's
Sure.
like, all right, Kev, like now you got to sing over that too, so it's like I was always trying to be conscious of that, and anything he wrote, like, and he was always able to do it. Like there was I don't remember a time where he was like, yo, I can't do this, that was cool. But now it's like, don't even have to think about that, and that's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
don't want to ever
the
again. Especially like stuff, as it gets more complicated and stuff. It just adds to the stress of a show, and I really want to enjoy playing every show as opposed to having that like anxiety, like ridden feeling, like, oh my god, is the string gonna snap tonight? Like, am I gonna fuck up the words? And then while I'm trying to catch up on the words, am I gonna fuck up the guitar? It's the worst. I give a lot of props to people who do that on the daily, on a way higher level. You know what I mean? So I'm just glad that I don't have to do that anymore.
I still think you do it to definitely to a degree, certainly. So I don't, I feel like you're not giving yourself enough credit for just absolutely ripping it, because obviously I've seen you guys play live multiple times now, and I haven't seen it with the new lineup. So I'm hoping this year I get to be able to see you guys again. But I think it's really cool, and obviously I thoroughly enjoyed Stella Luna. And then you have a new thing that I just saw you announced, which is the Lampshade Sessions, and you released Stella being the first one. Did you guys do the entire album, or is there certain songs that you guys kind of like hand selected to do videos for?
We selected a couple, and then like a couple covers. But we did a decent number.
Dentino,
so
you
we
were
just
saying something.
explored like the just kind of recreating it and stuff like that. But go ahead.
Dentino.
What's up, man?
No, you were just gonna say something, and then
I was gonna say the same thing. Same thing. Yeah, we picked like I guess 4 of the ones that we thought were the most doable, and then once the piano became in the equation, it was like, what would sound good on piano? Because like, one I really wanted to do was Luna, but like Luna's very rhythmic bass, and you've heard it. It's very. There's a lot of theatrics to that one, so it was like making it bulky was kind of I don't know, in my opinion, taking away from it. Like I just didn't think we could recreate it the best way. But I think the ones we picked were the ones that we all agreed like sounded the best. I think we tried a few others, like Anxious Racing was cool, folky, and like Sweet and Golden Fields were cool. But I think ultimately like we're all pretty happy with what we ended up with. So you'll see next week we have one, and then the week after that, I think like the next few weeks next few Fridays we're dropping stuff, I think.
Nice. There you go. Well, I'll keep posted on them. And then I guess how was that process of kind of reworking the songs? Because I think it's interesting for me to see it from, obviously listening to both albums and being very familiar with how those songs sound. And then I did hear a little clip of Stella before we hopped on, and I was like, this is different, but somehow, like the way that you guys were still able to encapsulate the sound of Stella Luna as a whole, I thought was really interesting. So, did you guys kind of have a hard time like putting these songs together in that sort of song structure, or were you just like, we're just gonna do it, whatever happens is what's gonna happen?
It
We
was
spent
actually we
You
were
could
we
just
just kind of spent most of December, I feel like, or end of November to December, pretty much like once a week, every Sunday, we would just all gather around at Dentino's house, like in his home studio, and we would just sit there and just play the songs and like just feel them out and like work them. And it was just a really like relaxing kind of just like setting to put yourself in and lose yourself in. And it was just like a nice time of year to do that. And I feel like it just kind of flowed pretty naturally. And just after doing it for like a few weeks, we kind of just settled on what we wanted to do, and it was pretty streamlined, I'd say, right?
Yeah, I think it also speaks to like the musicianship of everyone involved in the band, and be like, all right, like what key is comfortable for everybody, and and just kind of being like, all right, this is the key we're gonna play in, and then just kind of going and be like, all right, well that works, and then kind of just honing in on the little things after that. But it was fun. It was cool to let it happen organically and kind of let the feel take over, as opposed to trying to just like write it from scratch or whatever. We just kind of like jammed on it, like campfire. If a campfire had a piano that you could plug in and like PA speakers.
So a keyboard.
Exactly. So, but yeah, no, it was fun. It was cool, and it was really chill, and I think it kind of reflects in the sessions themselves, like just hearing the vibes of the songs and where we take it as opposed to the original versions of them. So
I also feel like you guys kind of hinted at it as well, because I remember watching a clip of you guys, because I think you went on, if my memory serves me correct, you guys went on Warp Tour for a little bit, and I know Dentino was like messing around on a piano, and I saw Kevin, both you and Kevin doing, I forget which Poeta song because I'm on the spot right now, but I remember you guys
you
like,
definitely know it's like your favorite song, dude.
oh fuck, now I'm gonna, it's not Golden Field, is it?
No.
I have no
You
idea.
request it live all the time, as in most people. And every time they request it, we're like, no, we're
It's
not doing
Freebird, guys. That's the answer. I just want to let you know.
that.
That's the true answer. Every time I ask them to play Freebird and they let me down all the time. Hopefully next time they'll play Freebird. I don't know. We'll find out.
We played it at the last few shows. We should have been there.
Yeah, you should have been there.
Well, now I live in Pennsylvania, guys, so it's a little I'm
We
out in
have to get a
like
show out there. That's
I'm
what
out in the
you're saying, right?
boonies. Yeah, let's
That's what
go.
you're saying. We got to show out there. All
Yeah,
right, let's hook it up, dude.
Yeah, let's go. I'm waiting.
We're gonna do a show at George's house, I think.
That's a little far away, I'd argue now. But yeah, so I kind of had a feeling. I was like, I feel like if they're gonna do some sort of like reimagined or like acoustic version of the track, I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm really stoked that you guys are working on the Lamb's Shade sessions and like putting the time in, because it sounds really cool so far, and I'm definitely gonna be checking out every Friday to see if I can like figure out what song you guys are gonna cover, and B, what song you guys are doing, reimagined versions of. So I'll be
What do
very
you
curious.
want? Like, what are some songs that you're like, oh, I wish they had reimagined this?
I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. I really enjoyed. I probably would really enjoy Golden Fields if you didn't already do that one. I think that one would be really sick.
Cool.
Either that or Volpigs, but I know that's a hella old one. So
Volpix evolves, dude.
I know that, as most people here know I'm a nerd, so I know the process, Dentino.
Us too. We're all nerds.
We're all nerds. But it's cool. I'm very excited, guys. I'll leave a link to the first one, Stella, in the description, so go give it some love and make sure to keep an eye out. I know a bunch of homies worked on that one, so want to give them the salutes. But the next question for you guys, for maybe new listeners who haven't checked out Poeta and they watched like some person, they watched the podcast in the UK about this and they're like, man, they did another interview. That's cool. What song would you recommend to a new listener to check out to kind of give you an idea of Poeta and their sound?
If it was up to me, I guess. Man, that's a tough question. I don't know. I would probably show Nine Tails. I think it has a pretty decent mix of everything that we do. Either that or like Blossom, maybe. I think it just kind of has like a decent like mix of everything that Poeta is about. But I would probably lean more towards.
Yeah, I would agree. Nine Tails definitely is like a good, covers all the bases.
Yeah, I'd pick either Nine Tails or Heaven. Nine Tails is definitely the epitome of what I want to be as a band, and I think Heaven is too.
Agreed.
I think Heaven's probably the go-to, just because like everybody that's reached out to me and has listened to the discography, they always come back and they always just tell me how great Heaven is. They're like, dude, you did a sick job on that. I'm like, I wasn't on it.
You're like, thanks, man.
But like they said, like, I mean, like even now, like now that we've gotten Nine Tails down for the live sets, like that's just such a fun song to play because we know how much the energy shifts in that song in each of the sections. It's such a great feel song. It's like it's just so much fun to play. Even when we play at practice, I get stoked to play it every time. So Nine Tails is definitely there for the new stuff.
There we go. Well, guys, I'll also leave a link to all their favorites in the description. Go check them out. Also, you just go check out like both Golden Fields and Stella Luna. They're both great. You know, if I had to pick one out of the two, I might be a little biased in saying that I liked Golden Fields like just a smidge more. But
That's cool to hear.
He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that are like, oh, their new stuff's pretty cool. But
don't give me that grief. Don't give me that grief. All right, this is some bullshit.
I can't believe that you're putting us in that box, dog.
You know what? Listen, I'll do whatever I want because I can't believe you would throw me under the bus like that, Kev. You know, after all the shit I do for your band, now you're coming out of the woodworks with that shit. I can't even believe it. Wow.
I'm just calling it like a.
All right, well, guess what? I'm removing that Stella Luna live
awesome,
stream and that interview we did and all that other stuff. I'm backdating all the shit that I talked about Poeta.
Interesting question though, Brandon. Why? Okay, so what elements of Golden Fields will probably make you lean that way?
I think it's because
Does
it's
the production have anything? Sorry, I just want to comment on if the production has an effect on your opinion.
Not as much. I think honestly, what affects my opinion is nostalgia. I've known you guys for such a while, and I remember just like literally listening to that album every day, 7 days a week, up until like I recorded my review for it. Like I remember putting in the time to listen to it, and I could argue I probably listened to it more than most people had listened to it. And so for me, that's why I have a lot of love for it, because I can literally just remember that moment or those weeks leading up to the album release. And I was just like, oh God, I got to record this review. And I was like, but I don't want to stop listening to it because maybe something might come up that I really enjoyed and I won't maybe be able to like write about it. Cause this was during the time period where like most people, if they've been with the channel for a while, I used to write my reviews out on like a notebook. So I used to really kind of like go song by song, write out certain like time signatures in terms of like, I like this part from like a minute 8 to like a minute 20. And I remember being really thorough with that album because I knew how important it was for you guys at the time. And also for me, because like I was like, man, I really get to spend the time to see this band grow. And like, I also think because I had seen you guys live and you guys were local, it was really cool for me to see like just the intricacies of that album. So I think that's why it holds more of a special place in my heart. That's not to discount Stella Luna by any stretch, because I still love that album too. But I still think Golden Field only edges out because I had spent so much time with it. And Stella Luna, I feel like I spent a lot of time with after I had done the review for it, but not nearly as much as Golden Fields.
It's awesome to hear, man, and we appreciate that. We appreciate the kind words about about Golden Fields and stuff like that. And totally kidding before about that. So you're definitely entitled to that opinion, regardless.
You could roast me. I don't care. I could take it.
Just to take it down to a serious, a serious tone. Like, we really do appreciate that, and we hope to create that feeling across multiple albums for new listeners to come. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you.
No problem.
Seriously, man, thank you so much for that. Like, and everything you said, dude. I was seriously at work today, like almost like in tears. And my boss, not my boss, the fuck, I'm her boss. Get out of here. He was listening. He was like listening on my laptop, like while it was open. Like, this lady in my class, and she was like, "Are they talking about you?" And I was like, "Yeah, this dude, like, I never knew this happened." And it said from like 5 months ago.
I know,
like,
that's what I was saying. I was like, I literally messaged Dentino. I was like, this happened like 5 months ago. Like,
yeah, you're like in the chat, like, "Yo, what's up, Kevin, Zach, and George?" And I'm like, they definitely told me, and I definitely had no idea.
See, now it all comes out. Now it all comes out, Dentino.
That's all right,
Listen.
man. He's consistently like that. Like, "Oh, when did we book this show?" Like, "We told you 5 months ago," and he's like, "Yeah."
He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pull up to this stream." Now it confirmed.
I'm trying to get better.
Confirmed poser right now. You're like, "I love your stuff, man." Didn't even fucking watch his own fucking band's video that I made for it.
I know, dude. I'm an idiot. But
I'm just
on that
kidding.
note, I do have to bounce. I appreciate all
Wow.
of you. Grant.
Even
Thank
on
you.
top
I
of
know.
that shit. Oh my god. Wow. This
Put
is
your shirt on, bro.
this is getting
I know.
this. You literally couldn't have, like, you're just like, yeah. Brandon just like, oh yeah, he's doing the best thing. All right, I gotta go. See you later.
Dude,
They just
I'm
out-
proud of myself for making it to half of this one at least. I'm getting better, right?
Next time he'll show up to an actual full interview, guys. I know.
Yes.
Be
Yes.
excited.
I love you guys. I will see you later. Peace
Love
out.
you, bro.
Bye bye.
I still
Dude,
can't
fuck
believe
that guy.
I can.
Who is that clown, man?
I don't know. We added him
No,
on accident.
much love and respect.
No, I love Dentino. I just think it's hilarious that I feel like I had to just roast him for a little bit because I was like, he sent me a message and he's like, "Yo, man, I really love that you did that album review." And I was like, "This happened 5 months ago. What rock have you like lived under?" Like, I was like,
So
I
funny.
literally
I'm
posted,
pretty sure
tagged the
we've-
band, I tagged everything. There's no way he could have
I
missed
even
it.
saw it.
I'm pretty sure we even spoke about it with him. And he's like, "That's sick, bro." And like, dude, it's just one of those things.
I
Yeah.
love Dentino. I just want to say for people who
It's
don't
just that
know,
he's got too many riffs up there.
yeah, he's
You
too much
know?
of a riff god, you
Yep.
know.
Too many
you-
riffs up there. You
No,
can't remember anything.
For people who don't know, I've been with Poeta for God, I don't even know how many years now at this point. So I have the right to roast Dentino because I've met him in person. I can dish it out for him, So I was cool. It was cool he showed up because I don't think he's actually been in any of the Poeta interviews that I've done. Ironically enough.
No, yeah.
So
you're right.
so that was the first.
He's like a lead vocalist in any other band, right? Just the hardest one to get to. You know?
I don't know about that, but
Except
I feel
he's got
like
to carry. Except he's got to carry his own equipment.
he does. Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're making him carry his own equipment. That's important. He's got to do it. He's got to pay. He's got to pay the path.
The dues.
He's got to pay.
Yeah,
His...
now you don't have to carry anything, Kevin.
Dentino's good. Well, look at him. He had like no shirt on, so I mean, it makes sense.
He's got it.
He's got it. Yeah, he's good.
I love when he just takes my rack. He's like, I got it. I'm like, all right, cool, thanks. That's the thing I've noticed about my friends that go to the gym a lot. They
Yo, I got
love
this, bro.
carrying heavy shit everywhere. And I'm just like, dude, definitely. Take it.
Take it. No
It's
problem.
You
John's
got
just
it,
like,
man.
you
Whatever
want to
makes
do
you
that?
happy.
You got that. Thanks,
no
man.
problem. He puts like the 4 cab on top of another 4 cab. He's like, yeah, I got it, man. No problem. And then meanwhile, he's wearing that same shirt that like has like no shirt. Guys, let us know how much of a shirt do you think that Dentino's wearing? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to know. Just give me like a number. Do you think it's like 50%?
He's actually wearing tissue paper that's cut
Oh.
up.
Let us know how much of a percentage of a shirt you think he's wearing. I'd love to know. So drop it in the comments. But yeah, no, I getting back to the kind of the main point, but I think for me it's like, and very similarly to, I think a lot of the bands I've had them more recently that have like come back after I've had them on for like multiple years. I think for me it's really cool to see how much the band has grown over that time period. I remember like when Kev and I first met, like I think we met at, like Game Changers World or something like that back in the OG days, you know.
Rip.
Rip Game Changers World. But like I remember meeting all of you guys and being like so stoked that you guys were local. Like when I was living in New Jersey, it was such a cool thing. And I've seen Poeta, like I can't even count on how many hands and fingers that I have, you know, that you guys, I've seen you guys play, you know, seen you play for like real like small intimate venues. I've seen you play for like a bigger, you know, bigger venues like, you know, House Independence, stuff like that. Um, and so for me, it's cool to see that like progression and that growth, because I, like as I mentioned before, I really loved Golden Fields a lot. It's still, I'd say it's probably in my top favorite albums that I've listened to of all time, and that's even predating the channel too. Like some OG albums that I really
Thanks,
have a
man.
lot of help, you know, have a lot of like personal attachment to. And then I feel like with Stella Luna, I think there's just this level of I feel like there's this level of experience that you guys had writing that record, and just kind of coming off of like Golden Fields, because I feel like during that time period, you guys took a lot of time to just like, you know, focus up and do different things, and then I know you guys came back and like kind of regrouped, um, and that was just really cool to see, because I think for me personally, like I was a little upset about that because I was like one of the first bands that like I got into, along with Sales Ahead and like other homies in the Jersey scene, where I was just like, this one's a tough one. Like that, like when you guys kind of took like a break, I was like, man, that hurts, you know, like that hurt
Yeah, it was
me.
a weird time.
And it was a weird time, and you know, I respect you guys for like really pushing ahead and obviously releasing this album and going through that process, because I think, you know, as much as I love Golden Fields, I think this is something, I feel like Stella is like one of your best work. You know, I think with each
Thank you.
iteration you keep getting better. And then obviously with John joining the band, you know, because I've seen John's band's adventure. And I was like, I know this dude can like fucking rip, you know. So I was already, when they announced you joined the band, I was like, all right, what are they gonna do now? Like, what's gonna be on the horizons? Because, you know, there's certainly that level of talent that, like, I already know, but by adding John to the band, what other crazy shit are they gonna put into these albums now that I'm not expecting? John, how was it? You know, obviously going through that process of being added into the band. Did they ask you, or were you just like, I think I should join this band. That'd be kind of sick.
You just started showing up to practice, man.
So, basically, how it started was I thought the band was like done on hiatus, you know, and then
Mhm.
randomly Dentino just texted me one day and was like, "Hey, we're putting out Poeta's back. We're putting out another album. Do you want to do a guest solo on it?" And I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Sick, yeah, let's do that," you know. So a few months went by. He sends me a track, and then I write a solo on it, and then I went to the studio with them to track it at Frightbox Studios, with our good friend Bobby Torres, and I was just hanging out there, and it was just like really nice to be back in that studio. Last time I was there was like 10 years prior to that, recording the first Adventure album. So it was just super nostalgic. And then just being around these guys, I was just like, it was the first time in a long time that I really felt like I was like in the moment, and I was just like plastered there. And I was just like, damn, this is like really sick. Like, I want to do more of this, you know? And then I remember we were like leaving the studio, we were walking down the stairs, and I said to Kevin jokingly, like, yeah, if you ever want to like hop off guitar, like, you know, let me know. Like that'd be sick, you know? And it was kind of just like talked about here and there. And then I remember Kevin also messaged me one point asking me to fill in for a show because Dentino couldn't make it.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was like, I don't know songs. We would have to really, I don't have enough time to learn them. I'm kind of a slow learner. So I said no, I couldn't do it. But that was when I was like, I need to just learn this band's stuff. So then if they ask me again, like this opportunity, like I want to take it, and then after we tracked the solo for Seraph, we did the music video, and then even that day, it was just a really fun day, and we all I kind of talked to everyone there, like individually, about how they felt, like how would you feel like if I actually joined, like what's up, like
Yeah.
and everyone was just like, yeah, let's do it, so it was kind of just like a mutual thing that I feel like happened naturally, and yeah, it's just I don't know, it's just been great ever since. Haven't looked back, And then a few months after I joined, George decided he wanted to move and just pursue another path, and I ended up asking Caleb from Inventure to play drums. So he's playing drums with us now, which is awesome because me and him obviously have a dynamic from playing together for
Sure. Yeah.
the past 7 years. He's one of my best friends, so it's amazing having him, just almost come with me over to this side, and it's been an experience that I'm just like extremely grateful for, and I'm just like throwing most of my focus and all my energy into it. So it's just been fun. And I'm excited to just like write these new songs that we've been working on, and just I feel like with this band too, I'm really focusing on like the show aspect and like the real life connection, not maybe less of the internet, which I
Sure.
feel like in the
Yeah.
past I focused so much on that social media presence, and now I feel like I'm focusing more on like the real life aspect of it, and it's definitely like more rewarding so far, in different ways. So it's been great.
That's good to hear, because like I said, once they announced all of this was like, everything was kind of like shifting within the band, I was like a little concerned about it. And obviously, I talked to George pretty regularly. And so I had messaged him and he was just like, "Oh, don't worry, they're gonna be fine." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Because
I love that he was just like, don't worry, bro.
yeah, well,
Yeah, I love that.
I also feel like it was like, I also feel like people probably come to the conclusion that it wasn't like for bad blood. I think that
Oh, yeah.
I think for me it's like you can see stuff on the internet and you're just like, they're like, was something going on between them, and I can rest assured I know both parties, so I know for a fact there was nothing wrong that went down. Just that, things happen, and people have different paths that are, asked of them, and obviously love George very much still. But
I'll tell you what, he made the right move because he looks pretty damn good in that cowboy hat.
he does. Yeehaw.
He does.
Yeah.
Big
Does,
agree.
man.
He missed his true calling as being a cowboy. No, but it's cool to see, and like I said, I've seen Adventure before. Just being kind of local to the area. I've seen John's bands play before, like, and it's cool to see that someone local, obviously within kind of the more like progressive like metalcore stuff, jumping into more of the like post-hardcore like alternative sort of style of things, and the different type of things you're going to be bringing to the table versus like, and then obviously you got Dentino and you got Kevin, just like absolute shred gods here. So, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be cool, and then also it's gonna be really cool to see like, Zach with Caleb and their dynamic as well, because it'll be an interesting process for me, and I think I'm very curious to see what type of sounds you guys wind up coming up with in the future, because I really, have been kind of cool with like every iteration of Poeta, but I feel like what's going on now like is going to be very interesting, and I know that John and all of the guys as well will be carving out this like really cool path now, so I'm really stoked to see what's going to be happening next. And obviously, gotta send my love to George as well. I feel like this is my final send off to George, as well. not that I'm not gonna stop talking to him, guys. I just want to say I still talk to George daily, but this isn't him like dying or anything. I want to let you know.
Rip.
Rip right now. No, it's cool. And you know, it's cool to see you guys getting this attention as well too, because I think like between like the Stella Luna being out and also with the Lampshade sessions like being worked on and obviously put out as well, I think there's a lot of momentum and I hope that you guys do well. I also saw you got announced for the Palisades like last show, which is going to be insane. And another great New Jersey band. Unfortunately, hidden the hidden the rip, but I still love Palisades as well. And obviously I know you guys are gonna kill it. So hopefully people that go to the Palisades show will check you guys out. I imagine they will, because you know, one of I'll die on this hill, still one of the best New Jersey bands I think I've seen to date. I they just they got all of it. They got the singing, they got the drumming, they got the like the guitar works great. The bass playing's awesome. Like they're one of the coolest bands that I think I've always had the pleasure of seeing live, and I didn't want to take that time for granted. And I'm hoping that they'll be making it out here to PA again soon, so I can cry again. Um, but the next question I have for you guys is in regards to obviously John and Caleb joining the band. What are you guys trying to do going further? Are you trying to build off of what you have with Stella Luna and like kind of going through that process? I'm just curious, in terms of how diverse or how out there you guys are going to be going for this new material.
I think we kind of just let that stuff happen organically. I don't think we ever have like a predetermined, like, I think we're going to sound like this or like dive into
Sure.
some of these, aspects. I think it really just happens organically. But I would say the last song to really come together was Seraph for Stella Luna. And I think just throughout the progression of that record, you can kind of see a shift that happens. And I think we're going to kind of carry that momentum from that shift and see where that takes us. I think that's probably as detailed as I can get about what's next. But we're just gonna try to keep it exciting. We're gonna just try. We're always gonna try to be better than what we have been. The main goal is progression. The main goal is to consistently explore ourselves and just come out with music that we love mainly. So I don't know if anybody has anything to add
Yeah, I
to
was
that,
gonna
but-
say John or Zach.
Yeah, like Kevin said, I feel like letting it happen organically. Like, let's say I just sit at my room and write a song, and then Dentino writes a song, and then Kevin writes a song, and let's say Zach has some parts and Caleb has some parts, and then we all take those parts and put them together at our studio when we're jamming. I feel like that's kind of just like the easiest way to all have your own individual thing on it, rather than just like one guy writes a song in a room and then everyone just has to learn it and that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that by any means. Like, however anyone goes about their workflow, whatever works for you and your group. But I just think that we've been kind of just like between practices, we'll just be jamming, and we've been coming up with some really cool stuff. And I think that I wouldn't say it would be like insanely different, like heavier or anything like that, but I do notice some heavier elements with like Caleb's drumming. I'll notice he's on the China a lot with double kick stuff. Even in Heaven, when we're playing Heaven, I'll notice that like I'll be like palm muting harder some of the just like even like just like some of the like chorus parts or whatever, and I'll just the way he plays drums, like I feel like some of it just has a little bit of a harder dynamic just naturally. So like if you came to a show now, you might pick that up.
Sure.
But I wouldn't say that we put parameters on like, all right, this is how the next song's gonna be. I think we're just gonna like write a bunch of stuff, sit together, and then see what we can work with and how we can make it work to sound like us and the best way that it can be for us.
Zach, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think it's I mean, again, it's pretty summed up in that aspect. And I think the biggest thing I've been shocked with, especially with this next phase, is how quick Caleb's been able to get these things. And now, like these past couple practices, he's been just so free when he plays. And like I get a great vantage point from that, obviously from my perspective and my instrument. But
Sure.
like the vibe in the room right now is just so, it's a very free flowing. It's not even like you're in a groove of like songwriting. It's everything's in a positive direction. There's not one thing that feels like it's lacking. And every practice starts with a good jam. Everybody's feeling themselves out, and that's the best part about it, is that I don't feel like I have to limit myself. I don't feel like John feels like he has to limit himself. Kevin doesn't have to limit himself. Nobody has to limit themselves of what is their strongest asset on their instrument. And when you put that together, as opposed to any other project, you get such an organic sound and you get such a different direction that you're not going to find it on your own playing by yourself. And the fact that there's no egos in the room with forcing you to go somewhere that you don't want to go, like it's the most rewarding thing ever. Because I mean, we've all been in projects where going to practice is a chore, and practice is like sanctuary for all of us right now.
Sure.
It's just such
Yeah.
a great energy. Like that's the only way to describe it. So this next stuff that we're writing, like I missed the last practice, but last night before Kevin got there, John and Dentina were showing me what they were working on as like an idea for a chorus. Super simple parts, but they literally said just do what you want. And it's like stuff like that just makes you feel so important to a band, and that's really all you can ask for. So I can't wait to see like what we're gonna do next, because everybody is just in their lane. You know, it's just a good energy. That's the best way I can describe it. So
And that's good to hear, because I think like, when anytime, at least from my perspective, anytime someone, a member leaves or something like that, I think the dynamics can get kind of thrown in different directions, and that's not a bad thing. I think when you have such a corrected course of like having someone specifically for that band, you can very easily get attached to that person of being in the band and having that specific style that you're like, oh, I know who that is. That's who I've been listening to for forever. But also at the same point, I think it's like, I don't want to put like a marker on Caleb either, because I haven't seen him personally live, so I can't, obviously go off that. But I will say for me, I think it's going to be very cool to see this because, I've seen Poeta for such a long time, and I have a familiarity to what you guys do, certainly. So that could be a little bit of bias, certainly, but I'm also really curious to see like what type of changes and like having that sort of free flowed nature, because I think a band is going to sound so much better when everybody is just like having a good time and having like that sort of camaraderie within a band. And so we'll see how that sort of dynamic plays out live. I might be a little bit harder than I think the average Poeta person, just because I have that, I have a lot of heart for you guys. So I feel like for me, it's going to be cool to see the next steps, the next phases, and obviously you already know I'll probably be checking it out, certainly, because that's what I do. You guys are always going to be number one in my heart. So I feel like I have to,
Thanks,
I
man.
feel like I have to do it, as much as I
Thanks,
roasted
man.
Dentino
I
before this
appreciate it.
shit started. So, but
We
no,
appreciate it, dude.
it's cool. So, and, I think that I'm, obviously wishing Caleb best of luck, joining this band, certainly, because he's like probably the only member I'm not like 100% familiar with, but I'm excited to see how all of these songs and the dynamics play out live, because it seems like you guys have a good aura, a good energy about it, and I'm very excited to see like the next phases of that. Um, Another question I have for you guys is, I know I asked Zach this the last time I had him on, but what are you guys currently listening to? I always love asking this question. What's been jamming? What have you guys been listening to lately?
You guys can go first. I have to think about it.
All right, so
me and John
I'm
are gonna say
always
the same
on.
thing.
As far as like stuff that's popping off, Sleep Token right now is
Oh,
killing it. I
hell
love
yeah.
that.
Let's go.
Those new songs. I've been listening to them since like 2018.
Yeah,
And
same.
I've been trying to figure out who they are since then, and like I just kind of gave up until someone else will figure it out. But yeah, they're great. I also listen to a lot of synthwave, Hotel Pools, Allison.
Hmm.
Those two guys are my favorite. Shout out both of them. If anyone likes synthwave, check those guys out. They are the absolute best right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been heavy into Sleep Token lately. Like that, the stuff they've been dropping is just like touch my soul. It's like the thing I needed. You ever like get in that space where just like everything is kind of like tired to you, and you're just like itching to find like that new thing, and that's exactly what they did. I can't stop listening to them. I've still been back on Dark Sun by Dayseeker. I see you're in the Dayseeker shirt. That's been on
course, yeah.
constant rotation for me ever since it came out. I saw they got some slack from a lot of their fan base for it not being heavy enough, but I really like it. That's like the direction I was hoping it would go in. Bad Omens as well. I thought the stuff that they've been putting out's been pretty kick ass. And then I think I said this last time, but Corey Wong, I've been listening to him. I'm going to see him next week. So
all right.
Yep.
Kev, what do you got?
Oh man, honestly, it's just been like a bunch of stuff all over the place. I mean, like today, the new Paramore album came out, so I was listening to that.
Okay.
Which is really interesting. I think it requires a deeper listen. So like, I need to spend more time with it. But I thought it was really cool upon first listen, and then honestly, like I'll just put on like my Discover Weekly and just jam that for the week and see what happens. And really, it's been like a lot of like indie synthwave, like jam stuff. I couldn't even tell you like all the artists because it's just like all stuff that I've just discovered recently. And so it's just really cool. It's got like a lot of like 70s funk vibes to it and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been in another place with it. So yeah. So I've just been listening to a lot of indie stuff like that. So
very cool.
And then I'll say that I've been listening to a lot of the new stuff that the homies have been putting out. Like American Stereo. Their song In Spite and what is it? What's the title of their new song? 10 Cash or something
10
like that.
Cash Regular.
Yeah, I think it's Cash Regular. Yeah.
What a great title for a Jersey band.
Yeah, for real. I was just drawing a blank real hard. And then like a lot of the stuff, the stuff that the ones you forgot have been put out.
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying that, and I think they've been kind of pushing the envelope for themselves with the new releases. So I'm excited to hear the release they have coming out next week.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I can't believe it's around the corner already. That's so sick.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Those are another longtime homies. Toyf, come back on. I'd love to have you back on again. That'd be awesome. Yeah,
we love Toyf.
They're great. I feel like like I said, the shout outs for the New Jersey bands, just because I have to. Like American Stereo is great. With Sales Ahead, Ones You Forgot. I'm trying to think of who else in that kind of area. I know like Jed, we used to be in. I mean, he's still doing stuff, but they're all really cool. That like Jersey, I feel like a lot of those Jersey bands are really doing some cool stuff. So, guys, if you haven't checked out those bands that I've mentioned, go do that. That'd be really sick. But the next question I have for you guys is a question that I know I asked for Zach. I'm almost positive as well. Obviously appreciate you guys for chatting, taking the time to, talk about the new album. But what do you want people to take away from your band and what you guys do? Obviously I have a strong passion to interview bands and get them out there. But why do you guys like make music? Why is it something that's, crucial to you guys to continue doing?
I think music is just like a universal language that kind of breaks all the barriers. And I think it's one of those things that you can really make a real genuine human connection. You don't even have to speak the same language. You wouldn't even understand what the other person's saying. But like if you're listening to the same rhythm and you're both dancing, you'll look at each other and you smile and you're like, that's cool. Like I'm having a good time with this person that I have no idea. And I think the biggest reason why we do music is to make those kind of connections and to fill rooms that have those genuine connections between strangers. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Where
Yeah.
people are standing next to each other and they don't know each other, but they're all kind of vibing. You know, so that's a big reason for what we do and why we continue to do the things that we do. And I think we touch on some of those real life emotions that we go through every day throughout our lives in the music that we write. So in that as well, we like to make that connection. So yeah, for me, that's why.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to definitely agree with that. I feel like the universal language is the perfect way to describe it. And I think even just going back to the first time I ever like heard an electric guitar, like, or even felt one, like felt what it was like to play one when I was a kid. It's just something about it that it was just so, like, it just took me in, you know. And I feel like when I play live, that's one of the only times I find that I'm like really like I time almost stands still.
Oh,
Yeah, it's Oh, sorry, I thought you cut
I
out for a
think
second.
John's mic cut. I don't know if John can still
Yeah,
hear me.
he's still going.
He's still going.
He's still going.
He is still spitting. We
He's
literally
like-
cannot hear John.
He's like encapsulated
John
right now. He's
is-
like going off.
John is going off
I
right
thought this
now.
would happen to Dent, not you.
Yeah, this is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah, we heard about
I didn't even have to
maybe.
hear what you were saying, but I'll vote for you for president.
Shout out Focus, right?
Oh boy.
Loved your tax plan that
Yeah,
you talked
all right,
about. It
we're
was really good.
Well, I don't even know where I cut off. So if
You
you want
cut
to take
off
over,
when you
Zach.
were saying that. You cut off when you were talking about the only, like, when you're on stage, like that's
Yeah.
where you were at.
Okay, so when I'm on stage, that's one of the only times I feel like time like stands still for me, and I'm like really like in this, like, it's almost like blacking out, but not really. I don't know how to describe it. But it's just one of the only times I feel really, really present. I can't
Yeah.
describe it, but that's the best way to describe it, I guess. Yeah. And just the way when you create a piece of music, even if it's just like a melody, and someone can like fall in love with just that melody, and maybe not even the song, but just the melody itself. And then they kind of just recreate that in their mind, and they're listening to that in their mind, and then like I think they kind of can create their own like version of it in their head of what they think they hear, you know, and then that can branch them to create their own music, or, you know, their own type of like sound off that. And I just feel like anything that you give out people can take in, and then they can give more out. It just spider webs into, like, you know, more good music out there, because it influences each other, you know. Like,
Oh, yeah.
let's say we put out an album that like influences another band, and they're like, oh, like, that's sick, like we should take elements from them. You know, they might be listening to Poeta for 10 years and then put it out an album, and it's only got pieces of Poeta to it, but it's their pieces now, and it's like who
Yeah.
they are, you know. And then you have the next generation of cool bands. So I feel like everything that like every generation does is just like for the next, you know. I don't know. It's just like a way I'm looking at it right now.
No. Yeah. I agree. Zach.
That's definitely been the thing that's inspired me lately is specifically just like, sum it up as like empowering, or just
Yeah.
empowerment in general. Because like we all go through phases, especially like in artistic endeavors like this, where your inspiration comes from different corners of your life. And, you know, for a while it was, you know, trying to prove to myself that like I'm like a musician. I can work amongst certain groups of people.
Sure.
At other
Yeah.
times it's just to like stay active. At other times it's to write. Right now it's definitely empowerment. Especially for, as John was saying, like for these younger generations. And if it's not a younger generation, maybe it's somebody that's a little bit older or my age that's never had a chance to be in a project that, you know, is the reason to get out of bed some days. Like, for instance, I was texting my neighbor. She's like 14 years old, and she told me she was getting into guitar, and it was the most exciting thing I've ever heard in my life. She came to a couple of our practices,
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
you know, I because you know, when you're first getting into music, it's like it's such a hard thing to insert yourself in if it's
Oh
outside
yeah.
your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
So I invited her to come over to practice. I said, if you see the cars out there, you hear us practicing, like, feel free to come by one of these days. And she did. That was like over the summertime. And since then, she loves Poeta. She did a
Oh,
project on the band today, actually. She said she got like an A on it.
that's
Um,
so cute.
but, you know, I try to make it a point. I don't give her lessons or anything like that. I try to make it a point and like, hey, if you have a question about anything, like this is just it's a weird space to be in. And you might not like you might just want to have an answer, just somebody to point in the right direction of like, how do I meet these people? How do I find this community?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you know, to be the conduit that empowers somebody to find that sanctuary that I have with it, and to be like blessed to do this with such a great group of people, like that means more than music in itself can be, because I know what it's done for me at like the lowest points of my life and where it's
Yeah.
been at the best parts of my life, and how like much of an integral piece it is. So yeah, it's been pretty cool right now. But when people listen to us, especially with the live shows, I think that's my favorite thing, is just to see the reaction, and that empowerment piece comes in too, because then you see people get the confidence to like, you know, whether it's something as small as like going to work the next day and telling their boss to fuck off, or just like, or like starting their own band like that. And there's no price you can put on it. So that's what it's been for me lately. It's been empowerment.
There we go. I think I love that a lot because I find a lot of reasons why I do this. Like I always tell myself like every day I'm feeling like I don't know if I want to do this or whatever. I've been doing this for this upcoming weekend. I'll be doing it for 7 years. And I think to myself, I could have done anything else 7 years ago. I could have just been like, I could have just continued to just go to shows and like, mindlessly just like go see bands, and that's not a bad thing. Like, I'm sure at some point I'll probably stop doing this just because I maybe won't have the time to do it or whatever. But I hope that, very similarly to music, I hope that people maybe like watch my stuff and are like, oh shit, like Brandon's doing this and he's been doing it for however long I continue to do this for. And they're like, that's awesome. I wonder how he did it. And I literally say to people all the time, just go out and do it. Like, I think the worst thing is looking back and being like, shit, I wish I really did that, And I told myself, like, the last year of me before graduating college, I was like, if I don't start this YouTube channel, I probably won't, you know? And now I've been doing it for, 7 years. So I think for me, can resonate a lot with Zach's, statement, because I think for me, it's like, I didn't need really anybody to empower me to do this. However, I hope that I can empower someone else to be like, yeah, you can interview bands or you can be a part of the music scene. It doesn't like, you just have to go out there and do it. And unfortunately, that can be the terrifying part. But I'd imagine most people within the scene are just like willing to help or willing to, help you get to the next stage. And also the same thing is that we're all striving kind of for the same goals, So I think it's important to not like take a shit on another band. Like if you don't like them, like that's not gonna do you any good by being like, yeah, I don't like XYZ band, That's just not, you're not doing anything other than just trying to call attention to yourself. And I think that is a terrible way to go about it. And that's why, I can make jokes about Poeta, but as much as I do, I feel like I put my money where my mouth is, and I love this band a lot, So I think it's equal parts joking, equal parts, if not more so, love for Poeta and what they do, because I know how talented they are, and I want other people to see the talent that I see, And so I hope that people not only take away in this interview that I can like literally, you know, just absolutely dunk on Dentino, but also at the same point that I love this band so much that I can dunk on Dentino. So, so that's really the moral of the story, and that, I love these guys and I honestly wish them the best, as despite however many jokes I make about the band as a whole. I think you guys are great, and obviously best of luck going further. You already know I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. But for people who maybe are new and don't know about Poeta, where can they find you guys at? What do you guys have coming up next in the next couple months? And, anything else you want to plug?
Find all of our music on your favorite streaming platforms. Currently, we have the Lampshade Sessions dropping. We just released Stella's Lampshade Session today. So it's kind of like, for those of you who don't know what a Lampshade Session is, it's just a stripped down version of our song, and kind of like a redux or a reimagining. So if you have the time, go definitely check that out. And we'll be releasing a new one every week for the next couple weeks. So keep your eyes peeled for next Friday and announcements coming in the next week for that. And then also we have a couple shows coming up. So we'll be playing at Icarus next Saturday, February 18th, and then with Palisades at their farewell show at House of Independence on February 25th. And then after that, we have a couple other things coming up, and you can just follow us on social medias at Poeta Band. Check out our website, poetaband.com. Go fucking subscribe to all that shit.
This is
fucking
crazy.
Follow us. Let's do the thing, and hopefully we'll see you at a couple shows.
Dude, where's the teleprompter at? That was like some pro level shit.
I think I covered everything, right?
You did.
you
That was
got
like,
it.
man,
Nailed
I'm
it.
blown away right now.
Nailed it.
I think you covered all of it, Kev. So if Kev didn't cover all of it, you can check the links in the description to go find out about Poeta. Go pick up the album. Go follow them on Spotify. Make sure to subscribe to their YouTube channel if you haven't already. I mean, I feel like if you've been a part of the channel for a long time, you already have. And if you're new, go subscribe to them now. They're definitely a band to keep an eye out for if you haven't already gotten the idea from me already yet. So please go give them some love. If you enjoyed this interview, share, like, and subscribe. If you watch the whole thing, you can comment Dentino in the comments, just so I know, I got an attendance record.
They also have to guess what percentage.
And we also,
shirt.
yeah, so you have to guess what percentage of his shirt that Dentino's wearing. So, like, how much of the gun show they're offering tonight. So let me know in the comments below. Love to know. If you, like I said, enjoy the content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way. It'll also be out in audio format on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that stuff. So make sure to keep following up with that. And huge thanks to Poeta for coming on again, as per usual.
Thanks for having us, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.